it's time to lay down the really, really heavy stuff in Conversation Castle.
Hey, Eric, how'd you enjoy session?
Castle,
It was fine. Bye.
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 Alright, Visca?
Yeah, I have some steel to lay out. It's very heavy.
Okay,
Nice.
lay it on us.
That's it. It's steel. I was doing a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeet.
Oh, really? You had like a whole
Yes.
big thing this session.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. The mystery is kind of fucking with me.
Hmm.
I like
What?
to imagine that. Okay, so you see, here's the thing. If I didn't mention anything like what I'm mentioning right now, it would have been absolutely nothing, because I think it would result in absolutely nothing but fucking with me. But now that I've mentioned this, I know for a fact that Steve is going to make it something that'll screw me over if I just kind of let sleeping dogs lie.
Or we lie.
Hmm.
Now we're in the real mind games.
Oh,
Also, to
no.
be completely real, I thought that one of the dwarves came back and snuck on board and stuck into my bag of holding.
I
would
wish.
be
Possible.
That's why I checked
God,
out
I wish.
before. I
What
thought
was
they were,
his
like,
name?
trying-
Doric?
Yeah, Dork.
Fucking rip.
By the way, no relation to Doric from Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Damn, that thing I didn't watch, I would have never suspected.
That was there was a main fucking character named
Doric's
Doric.
a pretty common dwarf name.
It was not a dwarf.
Well, my point
Uh,
stands.
So,
Yeah, no, good.
just
I enjoyed myself.
Hey.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. A heads up on the encounter with everyone jumping on the boat. So, multiple reasons. I wanted to have that happen at one point, but I also needed Vriska to be here for it. I was planning on doing it like 2 sessions ago, and then I think Vriska dipped early, and I'm like, alright, I'll hang on for now. And I was waiting to bust that out because bandits who jump onto the wrong boat is just a hilarious concept for me. I was going to have a little more interaction between them, but I also
killed them instantly, didn't I?
yeah, like
Yeah.
I anticipated there were going to be 3 different
Them walking
outcomes.
into a cave and then a lion just coming out growling. Each one of their friends. Are they going to sit around and pet the lion? I don't think so.
No, so the essentially I had 3 ideas of what was potentially going to happen. The first one is exactly what happened. The mayor whips out the gun, immediately caps someone, and then they try and scamper away with whoever survives. I gave Coco, like, I want to say maybe half a paragraph of explanation of what was going on. And Coco chose to be the leader of this group of bandits. And all of them jumped onto the ship and didn't even have time to do anything. Immediately started getting the shit beat out of them. And
Oh.
I'm surprised more didn't die, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was working on it.
So the second option was you guys didn't fire immediately, asked them to leave, and then they jumped off the ship because they would have absolutely, if you wouldn't have done anything, as soon as they realized a mayor was there, you know, Gearhead, Scourge of the Seas, Queen of the Pirates, like, as soon as they clock that, they would have started bitching out the one party member who was supposed to scout the ship. Because they didn't recognize the mayor. And so they would have bitched them out and everyone would have jumped. The last option, Demare had previously expressed interest in recruiting people to fight dragons.
Yeah.
They are pirate ship plunderers.
Look, I'll be real. The second they were like, "Give me your ship," there was like a switch in the mayor's brain that was just like, "Kill."
Yeah, that's why I had the 2 other outcomes planned, because like I'm just like, is diplomacy going to be an option? Probably not. but in case, I legitimately gave them like names and mild personalities, and Dwarf is a barbarian, and you what?
Maybe we'll run into them later.
Nah.
Yeah.
No, they ain't gonna see me again in their life if they can help it.
Yeah, Demare, I did mention I might have some people I can hook you up with.
You
Good.
need to mention that to me as well.
It's gonna be some folks from the Shurthor Hunting Lodge. I think that'd be a pretty good fit. Yes?
I'm not
No?
sure how much
Maybe?
they would like them.
What? You want people that can fight dragons? They can very well fight dragons.
So, anyway,
Yeah, good session. I enjoyed it.
yeah.
Could have been less murder hobo-y, but I wanted to be the cool pirate.
No, this
Yeah,
was absolutely a murder hobo event.
Also, if you die to a single cannon, maybe you're not really cut out to fight dragons. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, so,
I mean, if they seemed less inclined to fight me while I was still shooting them.
that guy, okay, you, like, some
I
of the
don't know.
party members
My
have,
assumption with them was kind of just like, oh, these are the types who just don't give up, aren't they? Oh boy.
they didn't have a choice. They had, like, when it came to their turn in the initiative order on the first round, they were fucked already.
Yeah.
Like, they,
No turns.
yeah,
I meant before, where it was just like, oh yeah, you gotta roll initiative, and I'm like, okay, I guess diplomacy's not an option.
oh no, you can do diplomacy in combat.
I know, but that was just how my brain worked, of just like, oh,
Yeah.
nothing happening, I guess, goodbye.
Yeah, they're not going to stand there and, like, if you start drawing a gun, they're not going to stand there and wait for you to finish drawing the gun and shoot them. They're immediately, the second your hand goes to weapon, they're going to either draw a weapon or attempt to do something to act at the same time and be slower than you on the initiative because they're not a level 9 adventurer. So this was legitimately it's the Skyrim encounter where you're wearing Daedric armor and are a well-established Dragonborn, and this fucking bandit runs over to you and is like, "Give me your purse!"
Never should have come here.
Like,
For all your goods, and no one will get hurt.
this ship, there were 2 people on the top deck. It is lightly armed, and they're just like, yeah, this works. Person doesn't clock who Gearhead, the Queen of the Pirates, is. They're gonna try and jump this ship. There's 5 of them and 2 of you. They're not Joe Schmoes. These are like level. I think they're roughly like between 2 and 4.
I was about to
So,
say
like,
they feel low.
yeah, legitimately, a commoner is like level 1/4, and the orcs were typically around level 1 to 2. Like, these pirates can fight other bandits and are, kind of a force to be reckoned with. Like, Meladine, the leader, like, she has a flaming greatsword. She's a higher level. She is a force to be reckoned with. To the party...
Hot shit.
Just
yeah, no,
as the
like,
founding fathers intended, I just saw that fresco.
Yeah, that's what she did.
Yeah, that's about what happened.
it legitimately, like, the bandit leader versus the pirate queen, there's a little bit of a difference there.
Yeah.
Like,
I was kind of hoping that the person with the flaming greatsword would come fight me.
so it's
Hell, honestly, I probably would have tried to talk to them during rounds, but I just own zoned them so quickly.
so she, Meladine, played by Coco, By the way, that was the character that Coco was going to play if you were going to interact. Melodyne, when it got to her turn, she had 26 out of 65 hit points remaining. Yeah. Like,
It's in the E.
at the third, like, she's 1/3 health. Is she going to attempt to walk across the deck to try and challenge the Pirate Queen, who she recognizes?
It was also just like after I shot the first guy, I just like casually walked over and was just like, "So are you really sure you want to do this?"
The answer was,
No.
"Oh fuck." And everyone jumped off the fucking boat.
I have always wanted to do this. Just intimidate a group of bandits like this. Like, you don't want to do this.
I still haven't even rolled my intimidation.
You really don't want to do
at
this.
this point.
Yeah, like, the thing is, you are... So
I remember, I always remember that one time we were in our Pathfinder campaign and we killed a bunch of normal-ass guards, and you're just like, hey, guess what? You guys are like really high-level adventurers, and these are like level 3 guards. You just killed them.
Did you guys go
Yeah.
murder
Dead
hobo?
now.
no, the guard, there's a complex political... Yeah.
Alright.
Anyway, you are at that point again where it's like level 1 to 4 is the like dealing with bandits, local area stuff, become local heroes. You guys are level 10. You fucking saved the Orc lands already. You just encountered bandits who picked the wrong group to fuck with. Obviously, they're not going to survive. Like,
They're gonna die.
yeah, this was my encounter to throw at you of, like, this is something that would definitely happen. A group of, it's legitimately like, you know, gangsters that roll up to the
Captain
US
America.
military. Yeah, like,
Hey,
they
look
didn't-
at this goody two shoes over here. Looks like we need him to show who's boss in town. Black like that.
I mean, I get it. I totally intend to do the same thing in campaign 2 anyway, so...
yeah, it's like, I had been sitting on this one for a little bit, and I was so excited to whip it out.
No, it's good.
And it was over in a couple of seconds.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just like, how are you going to react to a combat encounter that there is 0 chance you're going to lose?
Yeah. Just, fuck life.
Like, you could have all rolled shit initiative, and okay, even if you didn't roll initiative, even if you just, if Demir deadpanned stared at anyone else on the ship, they would have naturally seen Demir, realized the teammate fucked up, and then still tried to flee unless you said something to stop them. You did not need to move. Like,
It's just like, hi, I'm a normal ass guy. I'm gonna kick this other normal ass guy. Is that Big Boss?
yes,
Oh no.
exactly.
It's that big boss!
That's exactly what it is. The, like, you know, the fucking hot shit. I have a knife versus. Oh yeah, that.
This
Like
is
the-
not.
I did the pirate equivalent of CQ seeing a guy to the ground instantly and tearing apart his gun. I was the boss.
Mhm.
It's more comparable to like you see the guy just rip his head off. Honestly, just
So the guy that you dropped had 27 HP. Peasants have between like 4 and 6. This person was hardy. Like, they had been around the block, and like, you know, they
Unfortunately,
could,
I am the block.
yeah, essentially, like, they on these bandits could fight the town guard.
HP is a funny thing. It's like plot armor, but also just straight up your health.
Yeah, but anyway, enough about us having fun with this singular encounter.
Yeah.
It was a good encounter.
What about the other encounter?
What other encounter?
You know which encounter.
The encounter with Amon?
And now the goop.
No evidence.
Oh,
just a
the
photo.
fucking... Yeah,
The goop from the pantry.
The rotting meat. So, like, initially I was going to have it return and be like a rotting flesh golem, but we don't have a flesh golem token, so I just used the ooze, and then I'm just like, it's just gonna be a fucking congealed mess of mold that has now gotten wet, and just the angel food funnel cake part 2. And
Everyone's gonna have their own fucking angel funnel food cake.
Yep,
moment.
waiting
Yeah.
on Zax.
see, the thing is, you said, I'm waiting for this to come back. And I'm like, there's no way I'm not making it come back now.
Yeah,
I
you
wasn't
gotta
planning
watch
on
your
it
words.
before.
You
But,
you're just in a mile radius of you're in Zach's party. That's the problem.
and because it, because this is the second time around, I'm like, I'm not gonna have it be a full combat encounter. Like, if you're actually gonna, like, stand there and fucking trade blows, sure. But I was waiting for Dante to punt it off of the ship.
And
Which
that's
he
what
did.
happened.
Finally,
yeah,
it left how many turns?
Yeah, he picked it up and threw it off the boat with a fucking 34. So, it's... Yeah, it you know... It was a thing. I wasn't gonna rehash the same joke too hard, but I wanted to get to Amon, and I will say, so I didn't have a ton prepared, but I knew I had enough prepared for this session. Like, if anything, the session was going to end with us pulling into Shurthor, and I expected the, Amon roleplay to carry us to the end, which it did. So, I had the perfect amount planned.
Yay!
Then I need to... So, I'm just gonna flat ask, we're kind of doing Conversation Castle,
Sure,
I know
sure.
only Eric is missing. What does the party have in mind after Shurthor? Because originally you're planning on going to Elvania. Are you still planning on going to Elvania?
I want to get Sandra's shit over with so I can get on with my story.
I think the next step is Elvania.
Okay, cool. So I need to map out Shurthor a little bit, map out Elvania.
I mapped Shurthor.
And I mean, like, so you have a map of Shurthor.
Yes. We also have a map of Elvania, which is my favorite
We-
map, by the way.
Not for long.
I'm very proud of the work I
the-
put into that map.
I mean, map out in the term of, sure, you have a topical map, but what's the name of the tavern? Is there, like, the various districts?
What?
Building names, what's inside of these places, what's on the bar menu,
Didn't I give
shit
you
like
that?
that. Did you not?
The interactive map, which has all the labels. Here it is.
I don't recall. But if you already have that,
Here it
that
is.
makes my life significantly easier. Please tell me you have that both of Shurthor and
Oh, yeah.
Albania. Oh man, that's gonna make so many things
I
easier.
got both of them.
Oh god, you just saved me like an entire session planning.
It doesn't have
Congrats.
totally everything, but it's a damn good start.
Because I have, like, this was the thing that I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna have to map all this out, and this is gonna be the, like, what's gonna take a majority of my time. But since I have these, this just, like, cut down my workload, and I can continue with the
Fine.
next portion of the arc.
Hell yeah.
Because, legitimately, kind of, pulling back screen a little bit. After Elvania, you expressed interest in, another dungeon than, like, after this dungeon. I have the fun plan with the dungeon that I asked you all about in the chat. Hey, dungeon concept, jumping in and out of the dungeon, exploring kind of the surrounding area. Once we have that finished, then we are, like, I have 2, like, direct character quests. I might be able to toss in a third one, and...
One of the character quests mine.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
I'm very, very excited for yours, Demare. I am, like... My one thing is that it's maybe going to be a bit short, but it is. I feel like it's kind of on brand for Demare to have a explosive extreme character arc, where
I was gonna say it's either gonna actually be shorter than even you expected, or it's gonna be longer than you expected.
I hope that it is fast enough where it's still satisfying, and the one thing that I would not want is it dragging out. But at the end of it, I feel like you are going to be happy because you have very clear defined, this is what I want, and it's very easy for me to provide that.
Give me that list of stuff I wanted.
Yeah, and Demare, the Pirate Queen, like, it's kind of cookie cutter, like, I wonder what Demare's gonna have at the end of the campaign. Like,
the Queen of the Pirates as during the Pirate Age.
Yeah, so it's
not in my world.
It's that thing of, I wonder if you're gonna get it in the game where if we're all playing out fantasy shit. Anyway, but yeah, after,
well, maybe.
There's gonna be 2, maybe 3. I want to say there's gonna be 3 character quests that are, like, for certain. I know the order we're knocking them out, and then the end is after that. When we resolve things for the party, get the character quests knocked out, there's nothing else. You are going to do the final surmount and fight the big bad. And
you're gonna get the fucking girl and all that shit.
Which now seems to be the Lord of Cinders.
You are going to finish the campaign, and when we hit, like, when we're hitting the resolution of the character quests, technically the next dungeon is very deeply tied with a bunch of character quests. When we start hitting that, and, like, by the time that we resolve Demare's, I'm probably gonna reach out to everyone and be like, hey, end of the campaign's coming along, proven that you survive, what do you want your epilogue to be? Let's work together to get your end made. And it's still, a good chunk of sessions in the future, but
didn't you say like 120 or something?
Yeah, we're on 90 something, aren't we?
This would be episode 95? Well, this is session 51 we're wrapping up.
Yeah, you just published 92, so, the next arc is probably going to take a while, because I'm trying to find them better balance, because you're doing one thing the party frequently does is you clear a room or two, try and find a time to long rest, get everything reassessed, and it ends up kind of ending session there. And sometimes the combats like drag out, etc. And because you're level 9, I will say I'm trying to balance out the combat to make it not be every encounter is a deadly encounter. But you, I'm still working. I come from Pathfinder, and things are different in Pathfinder. But
We make do.
Well, get used to D&D because we're going to be playing it forever.
No, we're not.
It's called Dungeons
so-
and Dorkheads. We can't switch to Pathfinder.
Last I checked, they aren't involved with the fucking Pinkertons.
I still can't believe the fucking
I
meme.
can't fucking
That's
believe
pretty
that.
The goddamn Pinkertons.
Well, it's a good thing
That.
that 5th edition is in Creative Commons.
Or
Yep.
no.
For now.
Hmm.
So I will actually say, so should Wizards of the Coast, there's a lot of like, there's a lot of like, oh, it's actually Hasbro that was pulling the fucking Pinkerton bullshit. Disconnecting system from extremely shitty corporation that
Yeah, the system's still usable. It's just more the corporation.
Yeah, personally, I would enjoy not doing Dungeons and Dragons, but that we're currently doing it right now. Anyway, with a lot of the 5.5 that they don't want to call it, the 6th edition upgrade, whatever you want to look at it as, the stuff that's been releasing, I have been really enjoying some of the concepts where, like, I remember one thing, for fighters, barbarians, etc., the martial classes, they are, like, typically you don't swap around between a bunch of weapons, so if you're using the one weapon consistently, you can take martial abilities for it, and warlocks now have the option of, as they're gaining levels, they can swap to greater sugar daddies.
Greater Sugar Daddy.
Yeah, the sorcerers, I think they're leaning more towards like them being either constitution based or more like from them, and they are more specialized in their thing where they have their shtick and they can mess around with the shtick.
Gimmick.
Well, yeah, and wizards are more studied and analytical, and they understand the logic behind the magic, so they're actually able to do rituals and alterations and just straight come up with new spells. So the sorcerer might do some meta magic to change something up. The wizard can legitimately alter the formula and make that a permanent spell so that they don't need to do anything weird with it. And from what I recall, they legitimately will have a spell called Modified Spell, and you can only have it prepped once for the day. But with that one prep, you can have a spell that you have pre-altered. And so you can have like a fireball that you change to ice or force, or changed the targeting for it. It's like they're opening it up to more creativity and not like shoving things into subclasses. I watched, they had like a 50-minute video with one of the designers who's kind of going through new playtest material, and it sounded really fun what they were wanting to do. Like, they're really shaking things up, and I think they decided to ditch a lot of the weird warlock spellcaster stuff, where they didn't have spellcaster, it was pact magic. So they now went from like 5 spells per day to the full 17 spells that everyone else has. And they now get specific pact magic where your deity or patron gives you unique spells. and some
You
of
got
the
that sugar daddy money.
yeah, so some of the staples like Eldritch Blast and Hex, those are no longer spells you have to take. You just flat have it. Every warlock had it. If it's basically just a tax on your character of yeah, you need to spend 2 of your slots to get these. No, it's not an option, it's mandatory. So they just flat said, "Okay, have it. Pick something else as well." And that is something that is I find it's a good design choice, because if something is so good that it is not optional, then you need to do something to change it, because the other options should be equally as weighed. It was so skewed that there is no warlock without Eldritch Blast, so they literally went, okay, there's no warlock without Eldritch Blast.
We did it. We solved the problem.
We did it,
Everyone's gonna take it
guys.
anyway. We just know that already.
Yeah, it
It's
is
just the
a
thing.
warlock thing. If you are warlock, you have Eldritch Blast and Hex. That it's just flat across the board. You now basically they just gave you an additional cantrip and first level spell, and it is there are so many things that like fighters are even better at fighting things, and they, if I recall, the champion, instead of just being garbage, they're legitimately about like fighting and winning and being versatile in more than just combat. And if I recall, one of the fighter abilities was you can switch a skill proficiency around every long rest. So if you know that you're going to get into a talking situation, you can then take persuasion. They allowed the fighter to be more versatile. I really also second wind is no longer just second wind and that's it. It's second wind and to do something else. They looked at things that were lame and are like, how can we like power creep it? Like this is garbage now because of power creep. How do we add flip it on top of the power creep that we currently have? And basically a level 1 character is already going to be a god, but at the same time, power fantasy can be fun, as this session literally proved.
Hell yeah.
So I'm very much of the mindset of, the dice are gonna fuck you over at some point, and that's where some challenge is gonna be. Let's just have fun, and you can have complex, difficult situations that aren't just throwing a army of enemies at you, or a monster that has way too much hit points and deals too much damage. I've put you in unique situations before where things are very dynamic, and you can, sometimes you need to think about how you're going to tackle things, and if you do it right, then great. If you don't do it right, then not so great, but you'll get through it. I haven't killed any of you yet. Actually, a little surprised about that. No one has died.
Wait, who were you expecting to die?
I don't know. I expected someone to get fucked over by something, and
I mean, we got
serious
close
bad rolls,
sometimes.
etc. Yeah, you've gotten close,
Zach's
but
gone down once.
Thankfully,
No one
I've not had
has-
a moment where I step on something, and then I get launched in the air, and I'm near death.
No funny spring trap. Aw.
I want to say, I would be surprised if someone hasn't died by the end of the campaign, but died with an asterisk because you have a cleric. Dying is optional.
Oh god, please have those right spells prepped, but yeah.
Yeah, it's also, and no, actually, that's next level. You haven't. You haven't gotten to Shurthor / Albania yet. I'm kind of the flippant on. Honestly, by the time that you get to Shurthor, I might as well give you a level because I don't expect you to have a combat encounter in between Albania and Shurthor. So, like,
I got a level for getting back behind the wheel, baby.
yeah, I'll post whenever I actually give you the level. But I was about to say, like, Nicholas hasn't tried doing Divine Intervention too much, and then I remember you get Divine Intervention at level 10, and at that point you might as well be trying it basically every day, because, like, you are literally asking your god for a direct favor, and depending
Hey,
on...
bro, do me a solid.
Yeah, it's... I like even in like Critical Role, they had like a god show up and bitch slap someone. Not in the recent campaign, but actually they've had Divine Intervention. I don't remember how many times, but it was in the level 20 game. They did a level 20 like theater, not theater, like live show one shot. And a level 20 cleric thing is your Divine Intervention just works. So they had a deity like show up because they were in one of the places that the deities could show up because Divine Gate bullshit. And the deities showed up and they were fighting some monstrosity that was way too powerful, and the deity just starts beating the ever-living shit out of it, and the party just like gathers up and casts a minute-long spell and has zero worries in the world about it as the fucking deity's just suplexing the enemy behind them in the distance. I love the deities getting involved because it is a...
I mean, shit, if you actually have some fucking skin in the game, why don't you fight?
Yeah, it's like the divine, the functions of the divine are supposed to be, above and mysterious and yada yada, and there's fucking process to
That's
that
why
bullshit.
Demir hates them.
It is a, like, can you take a minute to give us a hand here? And the scale difference is such a... There are multiple ways to tackle it, but typically for, like, Dungeons and Dragons, deities are between level, like, 25 to, like, 50, depending on the minor or major deities. But they are so much higher leveled that it is ridiculous to have them actually, like, show up and do stuff, because there's just not a chance in the world. A level 20 hero adventurer, like, if an entire adventuring party of level 20 people who are decked out, specced out, and ready to fight a minor deity, then they can take on a minor deity. Like, you're not gonna take on Paylor. You're not gonna take on...
Says you.
I'm trying to remember if... I haven't played or, like, looked into... I'm fairly certain it's Tyranny of Dragons, where they're trying to resummon Tiamat, and they might have, like, a avatar of Tiamat show up in that, and... like, having Tiamat show up, through the various editions, she's been nigh impossible to kill, even if it's just, like, an avatar. So, I'm gonna have a look at that. Apparently she does have, a challenge rating in 5th edition. I just looked up the wiki page for Tiamat really quick, and in the information for the basic information for Tiamat, there's died -1071 DR allegedly. There's just parentheses allegedly. But yeah, Tiamat is apparently level 30.
Apparently.
Yeah, the second edition statistics, Tiamat's avatar is 25 levels of fighter, cleric, and wizard collectively. Or, I guess, each. Yeah, each. So technically level 75. But yeah, it's... What the fuck?
Oh, God.
Anyway, yeah, Tiamat is a staple.
Boost.
But I guess back to the actual
Where were
conversation.
we?
I don't know. I just kind of got off topic. Anyway, B, how did you feel about session? Questions,
I
comments,
felt
concerns?
pretty good.
I'm
Yeah.
yeah.
I should have slept more because I have a headache I've been dealing with all day, but
I am mildly.
Yeah, it's late for me. I'm gonna.
Yeah. Vriska, how'd you feel about session? Questions, comments, concerns?
Thumbs up. I liked it.
Thank you
Glad
for
you-
session.
No problem.
Good
Thank you
night.
for playing.
Wait.
Good night.
Yeah.
And Shane is definitely muted again, so I can't ask Shane. So, Hunter, how'd you feel about session? Questions, comments, concerns?
You know, I've been thinking about what we said about that airship.
What do you mean what we've said about the airship?
Okay, last session, B kind of casually dropped the idea of an airship.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that idea.
Uh-huh.
I think I kind of want to look into that.
Well, good news for you, Buckaroo. I already have that planned.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's not gonna be easy.
It's not gonna
but-
happen soon, I'm guessing.
No.
Yeah, I figured. But it's in the cards, at least.
Yeah, no. I have it specifically penned of when you will be getting it, and it's very obvious. Legitimately, the during the quest line, there will be a point where you're just like, we need an airship for this specific situation, and it will be very direct of this is how you get said airship.
Well, we have a map already, so...
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm a little sad that the bandit encounter didn't go the way I was hoping.
How did you hope it would go?
I wanted you to talk to them.
Yeah, that kind of went out the window when Demare shot first.
I know.
Demare shot
anticipated
first, now
that.
you're all disappointed, and 15 years from now we'll have a Bandit shot first HD remake.
Cool mouth. But I always have to plan because I'm like, well, if they don't, and I've legitimately had it be like almost 50-50 of if you do or if you don't. And I legitimately thought that it was going to be skewed in the favor of you were going to talk to them when I revealed that Coco was one of the bandits. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have Coco be the bandit, and they're going to try and talk to Coco. And then that absolutely did not happen. I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah,
well,
no,
never mind, I guess.
Nicholas comes up on deck, throws a star immediately.
Yeah, just like half health gone. And just like, all right.
Jesus Christ. I think I even spoke out. I'm like, rather aggressive for the first move, don't you think? But okay.
Uh-huh. Jameer pulls a gun, Nicholas pulls out magic that can, murder a group of peasants.
Jesus Christ, why'd you have to word it that way?
You are beyond the scope of what adventurers typically are. Like, the saving the Orklands was enough to like become renowned in the Adventurers Guild. Like, you saved the Orklands in like a year. So like the entirety of the Orklands are going to have a holiday dedicated to this event.
I never asked for this.
And the Adventurers Guild, like, you would have risen to the ranks of like the highest tier of adventurer, and everyone in the land, the word would have gone out, and you would have been known as the saviors of Ukavrong. And like, the reason that you're not going to be known as that right now is not enough time has passed for it. Like, you're sailing around. Like I said, in a year, everyone would have known in all of Adia, this is who the party is. And the party didn't want to do a time skip, so you're just kind of continuing on as it were.
We don't really have room to do a time skip.
So if I didn't immediately kick into the dragon arc, because I asked for the time skip, like, do we want to do that prior to dragons being a big thing, and since the party chose no, I'm like, okay, I'm going to continue as is.
Shane's back.
So, hey Shane, how'd you feel about session? Questions, comments, concerns?
Oh, I thought you guys were still talking about random stuff.
No.
No.
I after...
I actually let him finish this time. It
disco.
was...
I was listening, but then I had to step away.
Yeah, I know. And B got tired, and Vriska, I'm assuming, also got tired. Vriska's been kind of tired, but regardless. Anyway, how'd you feel about session? Questions, comments, concerns?
Dante puts the monster in Monster Energy. Unleash the wrath.
Someone made the joke about, like, when Zach asked for the energy drink, someone made like either a Kyle or a White Monster reference, and then
that is the main like one, you know. Like, whenever I see anybody chugging a monster, it's fucking White Monster right now.
I legitimately, like, as soon as someone said that, it was kind of like mulled over and someone else was talking at the same time, but that caught my ear and I'm like, alright, that's what it is now. And I needed to, in fantasy terms, without saying it is the white 0-calorie monster, I needed to give that, like, how do I convey the essence of Kyle?
Exactly.
And then
I still need to get a tiny monster like t-shirt for the skeleton in my car, the baby one, because I named him Kyle, and I said he's just not big enough to drink Monster yet or punch drywall.
I said all of that to B, and then B takes out a second fucking tankard and gives the fucking drink to Dante.
Trust me, when you were describing it, I'm like, he's gonna give it to me, and he's gonna fucking down it, and we're just gonna see what happens.
I don't get it.
We're gonna let nature take its course.
Legitimately, my next question was, how much of this are you going to drink at once? Because I didn't know if you were going to, like, sip it and test the waters, or if you were just going to chug it, and then you're just like...
Dante's a fucking man.
It's going down the middle.
Dante, because he's not concerned about things like poison and whatnot, and he knows he's a strong dude, he's just like, fuck it, might as well, let's go. He's trying to humor, you know, Zach, and like try to be on better terms with them if he can help it, because he already is like, this motherfucker's up to some questionable shit, and my righteous fury like sense is going off, like I shouldn't trust this person. And so it's just like, let's just give it a shot. And then, nope. I was like, let's have Dante give him the benefit of the doubt when I know he shouldn't. I was just like, I wonder what Dante's gonna do next. He's gonna go berserk.
Yeah,
Dante
I
go smash.
actually rehearsed that conversation where I huddled up with everybody in my head several times.
Very fair. And I mean, that was a perfect time when you told us to keep it together at a moment when at least one of us was incapable of keeping it together.
Like, I
It's not
rehearsed
like
that several times in my
Dante is
head. I didn't.
so friendly and cordial, but then he was given a monster energy drink, and all bets were off.
I didn't think we were gonna do it here. I thought it was gonna be on the road leading into Shurthor, but here works.
It's one way to do it.
I will say I am very glad that the last few sessions, like after the couple of sessions where it was, we needed that hiatus, we needed the, there's a couple of sessions that I am just not, super happy with, and I'm just like, okay, we're going to just start knocking this shit out, and I'm going to have things prepared that are going to definitely keep the tension and the wackiness up. And since that point, I want to say this is like the third or fourth session in a row where everyone's been really satisfied with it.
Oh fuck
And
yeah.
I'm very glad of that, because it is once we hit this dungeon, obviously I want to always make sure I'm doing better. Every arc is better than the last, but we're legitimately coming up to the end. We're 2/3 of the way through the story, and once we finish this preamble to the main event of this arc, we are going to, like I said, Damaris is probably going to be pretty short. It's going to be like a session or two. There's going to be I'm going to say maybe one or two other people's character arcs wrapping up, and then it's the final boss fight, however you want to tackle that. And that is the campaign. The major part of this campaign is going to be this major dungeon, and then basically wrapping up loose ends and final thing, and then we're done. And
then the epilogue.
Yeah, there's gonna be the wrap up, the final conversation castle, where I just kind of have everything go, and that will be that. And I am so it's weird to think that there is this is the last major arc, and then it is the build up to the finale, and then the finale. And I have not gotten a game to go this far, and if this can be the first campaign that I finish, then great, awesome. I'm glad. I hope that people look back on this with fondness.
And then we get campaign 2 and I drop the new logo. Oh,
yeah.
You just put the new logo in the dungeon of roleplay thing.
Hang on, I need to check it out. Why is the live always going to be there?
No, we're taking that out.
Okay, cool. But
yeah, that's the campaign 2 logo.
Nice. I look forward. So I hope that campaign 2 is better than campaign 1. mostly for the fact of, obviously, I always want it to be better. Why would I want the second campaign to be worse? I'm excited because I'm going to be a player. And, obviously, Hunter, you know this world marginally better than I do.
Oh, heck yes.
So you're definitely going to be able to have more creative freedom.
The name of the campaign is Beyond Adia. We are starting on a different continent.
Mhm. I am very excited to
Kind of.
be able to be a player.
I've been throwing smidgens of stuff at you. Like, this past week, I was asking for info on Old Man Hickory. Because he has a part to play.
Oh, of course he does. I did not name the Golden Dragon. I took a scroll to the part of my notes where it has Old Man Hickory's name. Because I don't know where I got Hendrix from, but the half elf, quarter human, quarter gnome, crazy, collects bagels. I needed that one weird thing about him that, obviously inspired by the blanking on what his name is, the crazy old dude from Gravity Falls.
I know him.
Yeah, that was his partial inspiration. Also, just having a crazy conspiracy guy, that's just a classic trope. But there's always the thing where in Gravity Falls where he's doing things with raccoons, and that is his shtick. Where it's that little crazy bit where he's like collecting raccoons or something, married a raccoon, etc. And I'm just like, okay, what can his weird thing be? And his weird thing is that he collects bagels.
Perfect.
So, yeah, that's it's fun. One thing that I will say, not that it's a major problem, but I'm looking forward to not being a game master for a little bit because of the whole, I have to dedicate a portion of my time every week to make sure that I have enough prepared and that I'm not just putting bad ideas down on paper that aren't well thought out. Not that it's a major issue, but I am excited to be able to dedicate that time instead to working on my own custom RPG. I mentioned that earlier today. I think only Eric and Slick Mick were here. But I have been drafting, both mentally drafting, and I have a little bit written down in a document for what I want my custom TRPG to be. And I might, once it's play tested enough, I might run either a one-shot or mini adventure with the system. I don't think Foundry would be very... I'm not entirely certain how. I'd probably have to have B code the character sheets for me or something. But it's kind of an amalgamation system that is parts of a bunch of different RPG systems I'm throwing together. And I'm excited to be able to pursue that. But at the same time, I'm focused on this right now. Once we get this campaign finished, that's kind of my next step, and I am so excited to have the the things that I had planned so many sessions ago finally coming back and closing loops and answering questions and being finalized so that, like, when there are so many things with, like, I had planned things from, I want to say, couple of sessions in for Sandra that are eventually going to loop back around.
Hmm?
I still remember there was, like, one NPC that I had some plans with where you had, like, bumped into this NPC and I was planning on making them recurring, and, like, I don't think you're gonna be going in that direction, so they're just never gonna come back, maybe. I might have them show up again,
Who
but...
was it? Cobes?
Copes?
Cobes?
Who the fuck is Copes?
Oh my god. He doesn't remember Cobes, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't remember the very important character
now.
Cobes.
Good old Cobes. Cobes is fine.
Oh, he is? Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I thought he exploded.
I'm very upset you didn't do Cobes' quest.
Cobes had a quest?
Yes. Cobes had, because Cobes was in Steadfast, and
Well, then it
one of
blew
the
up.
one of the 3 quests that you could have done was the Great Chocolate Heist. I was so upset that you didn't choose that quest.
I didn't know he was on the chocolate heist.
They're not gonna tell you that.
You couldn't even pronounce the name of the town that the chocolate came from. Like,
Kikonia?
Kikonai. Everything down the south of that map has a Japanesey name.
Kikonia.
Kikonai. This is why I'm DMing Campaign 2.
Wow. The Drazi trade group from Kikonia is transporting a special shipment of enchanted chocolates from the Druidic Circle of Life in Kikonia. The shipment is arriving at sunset behind the Breadfast Bakery that is being escorted by the soldiers of Scimitar's mercenary company. Once the shipment is received, it will be placed within the pantry's secret safe, and the safe is hidden in the walk-in pantry underneath a wheel of goat cheese.
Folks,
There's some chef's clothes drying on the clothesline in the back alley, connected to the building next to it, which is a warehouse/processing plant, doing outward-bound shipments of travel goods and foodstuffs. The clothes can be stolen. The guards coming into the town can be encountered on the road. Fighting them is a bad idea, as the scimitars are strong. I had all of this mission planned out. I probably should just run this as, like, a goblin adventure or something.
fucking Kikonai. I'm not over it. I probably should be, but I'm not. You probably can't even pronounce half of the names from the Ningyo homeland.
I mean, I can pronounce them, but you're gonna say I'm pronouncing them wrong.
Alright, pronounce one of them. Right now.
I don't fucking have the... Do I still... I do still have the game open.
I'll
Hang
get
on.
it for you.
Wait, are they... No, they're not on this map, are they?
Southern map. Here, I'll get it for you.
Yeah, the southern map.
Because there's
I don't
two
have that.
world maps. So technically there's more world maps, but there's 2 that matter that haven't been revealed yet.
Yep. I can pronounce Cobb's Keep.
No, more south. All the way down the bottom of the map.
Dawning Stone. Hawamaki. Okumatsu. Shinagawa. Saisho Hikari. Oh, that's why I was pronouncing it incorrectly. I have the fucking A and I transposed. That would explain everything.
That would explain a lot.
Yeah.
Alright, you're off the hook.
When it is, in fact, NIA, it is Kikonia.
I kind of want us to go to Saisho Hikari. That's a really cool town.
Yeah, I will say, well, I guess I'll ask since I have you here, Shane. I don't recall ever getting a backstory from you, so right now I kind of... Did you give me a backstory?
Yes, I gave you a backstory before we even started, when I was gonna be added.
Oh wow, he's discovering all kinds of things about this campaign, this conversation castle.
I
had sent you my backstory with even included all the like information about what you were gonna have me do when I came in and everything.
remember that, but
I had given you the backstory plus that.
I will need to find that again, because it is not on my my campaign document that has links to everything. So I have two documents. There is the great document of game informatione, and I have a document that is a list of links. The consent sheets, character sheet, backstory, any homebrew class things that are linked to. I named that document that is the compendium of links. That document is named Links and Shit.
Perfect. That's the kind of shit I name stuff.
Like, this is peak. Anyway, yeah, I'll have to. I currently don't have anything planned for Dante's character quest, and I haven't finished planning everything, so it can be worked in. You came in at a rough spot where you were kind of like tied into a lot of the Orkland stuff, and that took primary focus. And then I didn't write down your character things that I needed to, so I've been meaning to message you about that to make sure I get that all added in.
I feel you. I mean, definitely, I didn't exactly write Dante with a specific, like,
Goal.
this is, like, my end goal, this is what I want, like, specifically for his character, because he is I wanted to leave him a very open character so other people had room to do whatever it is they wanted to do with their character. Because Dante is a character that, I like to play him in like pretty much anything. He's a common like personality that I enjoy in like games that I play, or how I like to play a lot of games that I play, of just, hey, I'm here to make the world a better place. I want to make things be better, and there's no way I can do all of it, so there's always more to be done. So it's kind of like his work never stops.
Mm-hmm.
Like he maybe can find something that will make the whole venture more comfortable or something, but otherwise it's not like he has an end all be all, because his work will never be done and he's gonna keep fucking swinging until he can't anymore, basically.
Yeah, there definitely are going to be a couple of characters who kind of continue doing stuff for a while, and whether or not you want to leave it open-ended or actually say, like, this is what happens until they die. I very much doubt anyone is really gonna, like, no, I don't think anyone is gonna say, like, map out everything until they die of old age.
No, actually, but Sandra does have minor parts in the next campaign. Everyone does, actually, but...
Yeah, I mean, technically, the party can choose to do practically whatever the fuck they want, because you have so much money and power right now that so long as it's not literally destroying the world, well, it depends on the character, but preferably don't destroy the world because the next campaign.
Yeah, I kind of need that.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to Zach on that one. Hang on. Is the angle that I was looking at my screen from on the new logo, it looks like the ampersand was off-center. It kind of still looks slightly off-center.
Yeah, you'll get used to it.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, was there anything else that we wanted to mention about session? I'm assuming that Slick Mick has fallen asleep because
that is a possibility.
Yeah, it hasn't really unmuted to mention anything. So yeah,
next week we get the lake.
Yep. You're likely, like, I enjoy allowing the ability to roleplay together while traveling, but it is, like, even if there's a dragon encounter, I'm partially like, do we really want to fight it out? Or, like, you're going to win. Unless it's an adult dragon, and then things might get a little sketchy, but you're all level 9. So, it's... For most mundane things, it's not going to be an issue. Like, I wanted to play out the bandit thing because it was funny and fun, and that's worth doing. An additional dragon fight. Do you really want to have an additional dragon fight?
Maybe a big one.
Okay. Like, it's kind of one of those things, like, do you, like, random encounter, do you want to go through with this, or do you want to auto-resolve? Because it's not in its lair, and that's where the money is. So you're kind of not getting a reward besides a dragon corpse, which you already had a couple of those, and then they got taken.
Okay, we gave those to her.
You didn't have a choice.
Well, to be
you
fair,
gave them to her.
We gave them to her, but in our defense, we didn't have anything to do with them.
It, like, of all of the things for her to do, taking those bodies off of your hands, not the worst thing.
Honestly, kind of helped.
And you're kind of bloodstains all over the ship. But
oh yeah, no, I mopped those up over the next couple days.
I think someone prestidigitated them away, so, you know, so someone took care of them eventually. And I am... Question. The Dwarven railways.
The subrails. What about?
Yeah, the subrails. Do you have a map of the connections of the subrails?
Everybody does. Here, one sec.
Well,
so the interactive map of Adia has a couple of modes that you can turn on. If you look up in the right corner, you see the little icon there. You have
There it
the
is.
kingdoms and territories, but you also have the
Oh,
subrail
man.
map.
Okay. Interesting. I need to share this with a couple of people.
Go for it.
Um,
That map is publicly available to everybody. It's in the description of this video, probably.
so, like, while the subrails exist,
Yes.
the opportunity to use said subrails is subjective. Because you don't know the things that are going on in the world. I don't know how many of the wars you're aware of right now, because I feel like I mentioned one of them at one point, but I don't recall if it's really been clocked by the party or if the party generally cares.
Is this about Stoneholm?
Stoneholm again.
I don't know, something about tensions in Stoneholm that we couldn't use the
Yes.
subrails for a thing.
Yes.
Why is Stoneholm at war?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I would like to know. This is my goddamn continent!
Well, you'll find out. And it will, by the end of the campaign, be resolved. To be honest, I expected it to play a bigger part, but with the direction the campaign is going, it's one of those things that it's not going to likely be explored. I mean, it might be, because the dungeon that I'm trying to lay out is, like... It's not exactly like a theme park dungeon, but your funhouse dungeon? I think they're called funhouse dungeons.
Oh boy.
There's a specific dungeon type that is like each room is a wacky thing and it kind of feels disconnected, and like, you know, one room is a boxing room, another room is a dinner where depending on the dish you get, you can have a different effect take hold, and another room is literally a game of chess. And
I don't
like,
know how to play chess.
it is this like interesting concepts that game masters didn't know how to fit into games, so they literally just made a dungeon where each of the rooms are wacky, and it is a funhouse dungeon, and none of it needs to make sense. You get to I recently watched a video where I think it was either Escape from Castle Amber or Return to Castle Amber. I think it is Escape from Castle Amber. And like, it is 50 or so rooms of wackiness inside the dungeon until you can find the way to get out of the dungeon, and then for some reason it gets extremely real where like there's political tension and a bunch of stuff and you need to save like a minor deity or something. It's wacky, and the like picture on the front of the module has like a giant destroying a tower on a wall, and that isn't even inside Castle Amber. Like, that is an event that happens after Castle Amber.
Mm-hmm.
And it's anyway, beside the point. The dungeon I'm making is not that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to be doing there's going to be travel involved because I'm trying to make it a semi-unique process, but you know, it's going to be fun.
Okay, looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Anyway, this episode of Conversation Castle has been going for an hour and 20 minutes.
Conversation Castle is so wacky with how long it lasts,
Yeah.
because sometimes it's like a quick run through and it's like 10 minutes, and sometimes I ramble for like 2 hours. So anyway, I need to be in bed an hour ago, so have a good night.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.